What an honor to be here today as a St. Paul police officer and as your chief of police. It's a great opportunity for us. This is a momentous occasion, talking about the training of those who protect us on a daily basis. So the St. Paul Police Department is extremely excited about the groundbreaking of the state-of-the-art facility. I'd like to thank Mayor Coleman, who wasn't able to be here today, but Deputy Mayor Beckman, thank you for your support, and the City Council for their support with this project. Also, thank you to Mr. John Nassif and Helene. Thank you so much for your support over the years. John, I'd just like to say on a personal note, I have known you for 27 years of serving this city, and I can't think of a more caring, more kind, compassionate, and generous person that I have ever met in my entire life. And without your support and your financial donation to this project, which was incredibly generous, we wouldn't be standing here today, and we were going to honor you with naming this facility after Chief Rowan. I know that was a wish of yours, and I know he had an impact with your life as well. So we're going to do that as we continue. I see Councilmember Amy Brenmoen is here. Amy, could you please come up? I know this is this project also wouldn't be possible without your support and help. Amy has been in it with the start, working with our Railroad Island community, District 5 Council, making sure that we have arts involved in the facility, making sure that we have our community involved, and they had a voice in this facility as well. The women and the men of the St. Paul Police Department that work tirelessly every day to make sure that our officers are trained at the highest levels, making sure that we continue to operate under the Guardian philosophy. And we can't do that without training and expectations. And this facility will allow us to create those scenarios that allow us to be better at de-escalation, crisis intervention training, implicit bias training, use of force, real-life scenarios to make sure that when we have to use force, that force is reasonable and necessary and done with respect. So, as I said, it's a state-of-the-art facility. I mentioned some of our partners, but also the Railroad Island Task Force, the East Side Art Council. We mentioned Chief Rowan, who this facility will be named after, and the great support. I'd like to wrap it up with our St. Paul Police Foundation. Donna Swanson, thank you so much for your leadership, your support, and making sure that our officers receive the training and the facility that they greatly deserve. Thank you all very much. Now, I have the honor of introducing my boss. Deputy Mayor Kristen Beckman is here, a great supporter of the police department and certainly our community. So with that, Kristen, it's all yours.
Thank you. So I started in May of 2014, thank you, and I followed in the footsteps of Paul Williams, who had the deputy mayor job before me. And I sat down with Paul. He had left, and Sarah Gruing was the interim, but I went and met with Paul before I started the job, and I said, give me your to-do list of things that you didn't finish. And it was long, and it was a little daunting, but very top, on the very top of that to-do list was build a training facility for the St. Paul Police Department. And he said, you know, we have tried to put deals together, we have seen the need of the police department, and I just couldn't get it done. And it's one of the many things that is going to bug me that I can't get done. And so with that sort of, you know, on a Post-it note on the wall, a few words of advice from Paul and sort of the top three things, and then the mayor had a few things to add to the list as well. But I asked Chief Vernon to give me a tour of the existing police training facility. And so we went over across the street from Lund's and we toured the facility. And I was struck by the ceiling tiles that were falling in and the classroom that was cramped and old and worn from years of use, and the workout space there where materials had to be moved just so people could do hand-to-hand training, where gym equipment was just not good and worn out and spent. And I remember thinking at that time, God, we ask ask so much of our police officers. We ask them to serve with respect. We ask them to be highest trained, and then we give them a facility that does not reflect the respect that we expect them to give our community. And that's got to change. And so Kathy's very persuasive, if you've met her, and she stayed after me. So I've got Paul Williams' words in my head and Kathy Wernan and the wind at my back. And I've done a few of these development deals. And for those of you who have done real estate and development, you know you need stars to line up on a project because they fall apart about 5 times and they need to be put back together again, and you need those stars to line up. And we had the stars line up on this project. We had the internal champions. We had the external benefactor who helped provide the private dollars that enabled this project to lift off of the ground. We had Todd Hurley, who was able to think of a new bonding source so that we could borrow the money and finance the construction of the project. We had the Port Authority. You have been fabulous to work with and really have operationalized this. And then we had the council member who brought in the voice of the community and worked with us in the district council. And I feel like this project is better, way better because of it. What we're doing with the trees and what we're doing with the art and how we're making this more of an accessible pathway and what we're doing with the parking lot and how it is. It's just all the stars were lining up, and they continue to line up. And I'm grateful for that because at this moment in time, the conversation we're having in our community, everybody talks about training our cops. What do you got to do to make it better? We got to train our cops. And I feel like finally we're going to have a space where we're really going to be able to train our cops in the St. Paul way, the way this chief wants, the way this leadership staff wants, the way the city council and the mayor wants, a police force that works with our community. And the other star that lined up, frankly, was the fabulous foundation. I mean, we have the benefactor and the NASIFs and how grateful we are for that. But the foundation has pulled, there are people in our community who love our cops. They support our Shop with Cops. They give their private money to help us connect. They support us through the Safe Summer Nights efforts, and we are so grateful for them. But we are grateful that they move money through the St. Paul Police Foundation to support the training, to support building efforts like this. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Donna, who's going to bring us home here in this program. But thank you to all of you who are those stars who lined up on this project, because this is going to be a great thing for the city of St. Paul.
My name is Donna Swanson, and I have the great privilege of being the executive director of the St. Paul Police Foundation. Our foundation is proud to have been able to help with this project. It is through the amazing support and generosity of John Nassif and Helene Houle that today is really happening. Their support of our foundation, our community, and the St. Paul Police Department knows no limits. Today is an important day for public safety in St. Paul. Keeping all of us safe where we live, work, and play is always important. And today it is more challenging than ever before. As we all know, the men and women of our great St. Paul Police Department have to be prepared for things like that have never been prepared for before. The threats they deal with have changed so much in recent times. It is important that the facilities they use to train for these situations match the challenges that we now face. The building that will shape here, the building we will shape here, is an important step forward. The St. Paul Police Foundation's mission is simple yet important. We are focused on projects that create community partnerships and expand the use of technology in deterring and solving crime. This project brings all of this to life in what will be a first-class facility for a world-class police department. Thank you again, John Nassif and Helene Houle, for their support, for your support. Thank you to everyone who supports the foundation and our amazing St. Paul Police Department. Thanks.
Actually, I think that
the things that have been said here are so important, and maybe what I can do is just bring a little bit of neighborhood perspective. I see Don Lohr in the back row. He is the chair of the Railroad Island Task Force, and Don has been a wonderful community voice to this, so I just want to acknowledge that you're here and thank you for being here. Hi, Don. And for all of your role in this so far. When I took office 4 years ago, Railroad Island was added to my ward like midway through the election, and I was like, what is Railroad Island? So I got in my car and drove over here, and this place is awesome. And I love that this is an opportunity to bring people into what I think is one of the most up-and-coming, coolest neighborhoods in St. Paul, with beautiful housing stock, bluff-top views that you might not even know about. And if you drove over here today, you probably noticed there's a lot of construction going on. And some of our intersections, we're building scenic overlooks, and we're connected to the CHS field downtown. So this neighborhood is kind of hot and happening. If you want to make some investments, I think you should do it here. So today is one of many of wonderful investments that are happening in Railroad Island, and we are very excited to be doing the groundbreaking today. As Deputy Mayor Beckman said, the connection to the across the street parking lot and how that ties into the community, the training facility, the people, more people in the area that are using our businesses is all a plus, and adding to the momentum of this wonderful Railroad Island neighborhood. So thank you. We look forward to having a great partnership with the police in this wonderful training facility. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Gremlin. Yeah, we're going to start over. No, not at all. I just wanted to point out one other very special guest we have here today, one of our supporters throughout the year, somebody that means a lot to the St. Paul Police Department. John Rowan is here. His father was Chief of Police, Richard Rowan. And John, thank you for being here today. John is not only the son of a legendary police chief in this city, but he's also a great supporter of the city and the St. Paul Police Department throughout the year, specifically the foundation. So thank you for being here. We are so honored to name this facility after your very compassionate, kind, excellent leader of this city. So thank you for being here.